Hey people. Here I am at my house. It's 12 o'clock Wednesday, 31st of March. Anybody that saw the video or sees it or anything where I go up to the Euless record shop, she said she wanted to meet me on Wednesday. It's Wednesday. When I got home, I said I wasn't going to waste my time driving all the way up there when they wouldn't even let me inspect my car or take inventory or anything like that. And so I sent her a Zoom link with a password, all that kind of stuff, and she never responded. And I said, I just flat out was nice about it. Like, hey, I look forward to finally discussing this with you without you just dodging out and everything. And so I set up a Zoom meeting. Obviously, she runs business. It's pretty successful. They've got contracts with the fire department in that area, the police department. They're in the International Record Hall of Fame. They do stuff for the United Way, which I'm pretty sure helps people that are in trouble and everything. And they seem very proud of it because it's proudly posted on their website. Don't worry, I emailed every single one of people on those that they had a badge that they're proud of, and I discussed it, gave them the court case. And the information about it, I also hit the executive director of licensing for them and the attorney general, who both have the ability to do sanctions. This is just going to be more evidence because it is now 12:01 and she has not shown up. I don't expect her to show up at any point. As you can see, I got the Zoom meeting in the back, participant 1. But I didn't want to miss the opportunity for everybody to actually meet Debbi Cheseny, so there's a picture of her. It's highly unlikely since they told the officer they did it for abandoned vehicle, which the shortest time period they can actually do anything with that on is if it's on a turnpike or a toll road of some kind, operated by the Texas Turnpike Association, 24 hours. Anything else, 48 hours. You can make statutes and everything in the local area that make more strict standards and everything, but I checked them, and if it had been towed for anything under theirs for abandoned property, it would actually be in the police impound. And I have a feeling they would have been known when I called the police. Y'all have to excuse me, I strained my eyes a little bit yesterday, plus the wind's changing coming out of the north in the spring. First time it does that, I always get a little bit of allergies, and then add in the eye strain. My right contact ejected itself, and so I've got a nice red eye that's got light sensitivity and stuff. It's got to rest some, so I'll be one eye in it, pirate talking. But we are now at 12:02. For that amount of time, we are going to go ahead and give her a dunce cap, because I will put this in the record and let the jury see this, that after me driving all the way up there, after she refused to respond to me about a second notice, anything like that, she had her staff actually tell the police officer we were in litigation, but she won't answer. And then she wants to meet me Wednesday, and as you can tell, I'm still sitting here on Wednesday waiting for that meeting. I'll give her about 10 minutes, and then I'll stop and just send her an email saying, like, hey, I'm sorry I missed you at the meeting. Let me know if you need to reschedule. But I have other things to do. And that'll be it. But let's face it, it is not a smart move to not actually go to the meetings. Hello?
Hi, this is Amy, and I'm giving you a call from the Dealer Service Center. We recently noticed your car's extended warranty was going to expire and wanted to give you one final courtesy call before your warranty expires and your coverage is for.
These aren't even for me. Whoever had this phone before me sure signed up for everything.
Press 1 now if you wish to extend or reinstate your car's warranty. Once again, press 1 now. Or press 2 to be placed on the do not call list. Or call.
Let's say one more time, and they're getting a $5,000 fine. Because that is 2 of those, and I have those recorded. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot to just sit here and ramble about, and I can't play magic or anything really with my eye being the way it is. But PayPal finally put in an answer, and they made the same argument I've been making for a year. They argued away my discoveries because I had more than 15 people I wanted to fill out interrogatories. All I asked for is everybody that actually worked to try to resolve my case. So that tells you something right there, and also should explain if they're still making the same argument, which I have stacks of evidence to disprove, that I now have over a year of experience proving people wrong, where they actually just stop responding to me. They don't resolve the issue. They literally just log off and send me on to the next customer service person. So I'm pretty sure even the most skilled attorney with evidence would have some problems now because I am very versed in this one specific argument. I have 5 or 6 different ways I can actually just prove that it's not even legal, let alone it's not what I did. She's got 5 minutes before we cancel the meeting, but I'm sure she'll appreciate this right here. Probably not. I really don't even want to submit a whole 10-minute video of me just rambling like this with her having a dunce cap, but it's just a valid point to show that I sat here and waited that long on Wednesday. We're going to go ahead and do a desktop capture into this thing because I might need it sometime. I'm going to keep this for whenever I do set up meetings for legal purposes and stuff. If you're curious, yeah, I'll put the dunce cap on myself if I have to because, well, it is what it is. But, she's going to have to make a valid point against her stalling, against her actually admitting that she is in litigation but hasn't bothered to answer. But you can see up there, March 30th, 12:06. And we've got that established now for sure. What else can we ramble on about a little bit? I haven't talked to the EX in a little while, and she finally reached out to me. She told me she messed up feeding her dog food. She was cooking him like chicken and stuff, like 3 meals a day when she first got him. It's an expensive designer breed dog and everything, but she's just now, after a solid year, trying to get him on kibble. And basically, he fights every minute of it. Won't eat out of the bowl. You have to hand feed him to get him to do it. And she's like, but he's so skinny. And it's like, no, he's really not. Like, learn how to even just tell his weight or anything. You want to be able to just see a dog's ribs pretty much is where it's at. So he's fine. He's not underweight or anything. She just needs to let him go hungry for a few days. And he'll eat out of that bowl. I told her at most, like, get some beef broth or something that's not going to bother them, like, not the super sugary ones. Not that a few times is going to hurt them, but no reason to get them hooked on that kind of stuff. You just get something meaty, like grill yourself some bacon or something and just pour that on top and mix it down towards the bottom so that they'll eat out of that bowl thinking it's something super special, and it'll probably be fine after one time. But, she does what she does and never listens to me and then blames me for stuff. I'm sure everybody's had one in their life. Anyways, so we've got our dunce and still no other participant. I do have join audio on. We can turn that video on. This was set to automatically record and everything, but nobody's showing up. She's not coming. I knew she wouldn't. She hasn't responded to an email except like the first one to say she didn't know anything except we towed it on the 26th. I said, that's not what the paperwork says. That's why I tried to contact you. And then the BBB to scream at how I threatened her. They told the officer that I threatened her, and he's like, have you been threatening her? And I was like, other than that I had already filed a lawsuit, which he said was a threat, which it wasn't. And I made it very clear that if I have to, I'll run her business into the ground just over this. I mean, she's going to destroy my whole life. I'll destroy hers, especially if she's going to deal dishonestly and just be a piece of shit about it. I mean, and that's what it is. There's a lawsuit. You just call up there and go, oh, there is a lawsuit. She threatens, like, you'll hear from my attorney. That's a threat if you're not going to actually do it. You're trying to prevent me from doing something I can legally do. It's actually extortion is what that is, ma'am, in case you haven't figured that out. So maybe you should actually get in contact with me and tell me why I should not press charges with the police that you made a threat of litigation against something I was completely capable of by law doing to prevent me from doing it. When you did something that wasn't legal, like not allow me access to my car, not allow me let me make inventory of property so I can even properly address how my writ and suits should actually be written up. You admitted to an actual ongoing litigation that's not ongoing until you actually have the balls to answer. But let's face it, you know that you're going to lose. You don't have anything to show that you sent me a second notice. You haven't been able to provide a second notice. I have multiple recordings where I asked for the price of the car, and nobody can tell me anything if you even have the car. They'll totally ignore me the first time, and that's conversion after that. Like when I'm like, hey, let me know about the price of the car. Pretty soon I won't have enough money to even be able to come up there and get it and stuff, and y'all just ignore me for weeks. You've now converted the car. You took the car and would not let me come get it. That's all that is. People, you can argue whatever, but when I go, hey, how much to come get it? And you won't tell me, so I can't come get it because I don't know anything about it. You can't tell me if it's there. You've hidden facts and everything that are extremely important to me, even making any kind of planning or budgeting, and preventing me from getting my car and stolen it from me. And you have now definitely stolen my property because I flat out asked to even just take an inventory of it while they watched, and it was refused. And let's face it, we know why you're doing that. I've already showed you how you can actually be responsible for theft of everything inside that vehicle. That the Texas Theft Liability Act is $5,000, and if you're not going to be able to show if you took one at a time, all of them at a time, or anything like that, so I'm going to let the judge decide whether he wants to charge each one as an individual theft or as a tire theft. You're withholding property from me that I need, because everybody knows if you ever get locked out of your Google account, it wants you to use something that's been used before, and the phone that's in there is the thing I need to actually log into my Google account for a lawsuit that's worth over $12,285,480.87. So at this point, even if I were to lose that from a lack of evidence, you're responsible for that. And any damages to the car, because you won't let me inventory it or anything, let's face it, you're causing yourself more trouble. And eventually, I'm not going to be able to work. We're going to have to sell the house or lose the house. At the very least, I managed to sell it in the time that they're going to foreclose and stuff. The equity. You owe me the equity. I lost the equity. And then there's all the emotional damage, distress. I can sue for the difference in the house payments even, because that is a damage and loss and expense that I would not have incurred if you would have actually just communicated with me the price to pick up the car. If you would have made a deal on the price to pick up the car. If you would have had the right tow date on there. If you wouldn't have actually towed a vehicle for abandoned vehicle enforcement within 3 hours. There's nothing that you can really do to defend this anymore. And you're screaming to the BBB that it's a legal tow, but what aspect of it was legal? And you can't answer that at all. I've gone through this stuff now. Like, I've looked at what you're allowed to do. Unattended property doesn't qualify. I still had more time than 3 hours. And that's it. Like, everybody knows that your car can't break down, or that you can run out of gas, or that you can get a dead battery. And as long as it's not an emergency area or private property, I get a little bit of time to actually come back to it. So y'all definitely fucked up on that. And y'all are trying to say, like, oh, the DFW airport authorized it. I'm not on DFW airport property at the time, but they were right next door. And I went to that security gate, pointed it out to the guy, and asked if that was okay. And he said, yeah, you're not on airport property. It's fine. Tried to charge my phone and everything. Got home. Another officer guy stopped and was like, hey, you need help kind of thing. I was like, oh, I reached out to some people. We'll see if I get a response, all that kind of stuff. And so it's just not there. Euless didn't know anything about it being towed. I called all the other cities, and all of them actually just routed me to Euless. So that is definitely Euless city limits. And so there's no grounds. You didn't inform the police. You didn't tow it under the right laws. You didn't have permission to tow it at that time. You won't let me have access to it. You didn't send the first notice in a time where I was actually able to get it. And there's laws and stuff that say I can actually just get that amount changed because I didn't get that in time, even if you sent it on time. And then no second notice or evidence of it. And at this point, if you actually had evidence of a second notice, any reasonable person would have just shoved it down my throat to shut me up. And you don't have it. So you can't charge me $1,900 for that car. And it's just, that's what the fact is. And even that first notice, even though I admitted it that I got it because I'm actually an honest person, it doesn't have a signature on it. I could get that thing thrown out super fast. But I won't. And, I mean, but that's the grounds you have, is that you legally towed a vehicle in less than 3 hours without actually informing anybody, blame somebody else, won't let me pick it up, won't let me see the property, won't send a second notice, won't give me anything, won't communicate with me, and won't answer to an active litigation that you admit to be in. So I'm sure that'll go well, ma'am. And that's the kind of stuff that actually causes people to lose their business. When this stuff actually goes big, whenever the executive directors and stuff actually see the kind of damage that you're doing just because you're sitting down, shutting up, and refusing to go to meetings that you arranged or desired, like, that's it. Like, I can't afford to just keep driving up there constantly hoping that you're actually there because you couldn't even set times. I mean, what kind of professional doesn't know how to set a meeting? I set one. Hope you have a great one, ma'am.